Welcome to That's Good Sports. I'm Brandon Perna, and let's see what EDP445, the diehard YouTube Eagles fan, is worried about for this weekend's matchup between the Broncos and Eagles.
I feel like us not getting a fucking lineman in the fucking trade, with the trade deadline being over, that's gonna us.
Now you know I don't worry about swearing here, but it's funnier if you bleep him.
Big fucking V is gonna get fucked in the ass by Von motherfucking Miller.
So his biggest fear is Von Miller fornicating their left tackle in the behind and
get fucked in the goddamn ass by a 500 motherfucking pound prostitute and shit. You feel me?
A logical fear of 500-pound prostitutes. Well, EDP, which stands for Eat Dat Pussy, in case any of you didn't know, we here in Colorado prefer 500-pound prostitutes. So do the Denver Broncos, so get ready for an ass kicking. This is your Eagles versus Broncos preview featuring EDP 445. This episode is sponsored by SeatGeek. There's a link in the description. If you use my promo code, that's good, all one word, you're gonna get $20 off your first ticket purchase. So Eagle fans, if you're here and you're going to the game and you want $20 off, that's good. We'll save you on SeatGeek. You can preview your seat before you buy it with the SeatGeek app, and they rank all their ticket prices so you know whether you're getting screwed or not. Pretty good deal, if you ask me. I'd like to start by asking you, the audience, what do you think EDP thinks of Trevor Siemian?
Trevor Siemian sucks, man.
Okay, a little harsh in my opinion, but what about the offense as a whole?
Their offense is garbage as shit. It's trash as it's putrid, it's horrific, you know what I mean?
Is there anyone on the offensive side of the ball that you like, Mr. Eat That Pussy?
The only weapon they have now is CJ Anderson, and that's a big-ass motherfucking running back, my nigga. That's a big-ass bitch, man.
And there it is, CJ Bash Mandersonic.
I mean, the nigga reminds me of LeGarrette Blount, except faster, you know what I mean?
CJ, this guy loves you. He's calling you fat like LeGarrette Blount, but fast. He does give away the secret to tackling, CJ.
When you go to tackle that motherfucker, nigga, you can't just fucking swipe at the legs. Nah, that, my nigga. CJ Anderson coming at me, my nigga.
No, not that one. The other secret.
Titties bouncing. I don't give a fuck.
It's true. CJ, if he sees titties bouncing in the stands, he stops running. As crazy as it sounds, he has a point. The most reliable weapons on offense have been the running backs. I think Brock can count on them more than the receivers and tight ends at this point. Emmanuel Sanders and the Broncos' best lineman, Ronald Leary, are both questionable for Sunday's game. Leary has to play for the Broncos to have a chance, in my opinion, and Sanders would be a huge help to Brock in his second Broncos debut. To be clear, for the 100th time, I don't think Siemian played well the last 3 or 4 weeks. So for everyone saying I'm making excuses for him, he was playing poorly, and that was compounded by the fact that most everyone around him was also playing poorly. Let's not forget, though, that the 2 fumbles, dropped touchdown, 2 dropped first downs were not his fault. The fumble and drop TD, that's a 14-point swing in the wrong direction. 2 of the picks were definitely on Trevor, but after listening to Jake Plummer, like I pointed out in the last video, I think one of those was on Jordan Taylor. The problem with Siemian is he did not do enough to stop the downward spiral into the upside down. He didn't give DT a chance to catch the ball on the 2-point conversion. There's no reason you throw that ball away. You don't make crossbody throws when you're not Aaron Rodgers or John Elway, and that is why Brock is starting. And I want to say 2 things about Brock Osweiler today. First, he knows a thing or two about getting benched when everything is going wrong on the offensive side of the ball, even though you would not say it's all his fault. The Broncos moved the ball with relative ease, but every fucking series ended in a turnover. When Brock got pulled for Peyton Manning, only one of the turnovers in that game against the Chargers was possibly on Brock. Do you remember that game? Emmanuel Sanders fumbles after a giant gain. Last week, Jamaal Charles stripped after his big game. Even CJ fumbled against the Chargers that week. Jordan Norwood lets a pass bounce off his hands, get picked off, just like Virgil Green and Benny Fowler let balls bounce off their hands. Brock gets rocked when he was hanging in the pocket too long, strip sacked, just like Simeon trying to outrun the pass rush against the Chargers. And Brock throws an interception when the coaching staff refused to help Michael Schofield at right tackle against Melvin Ingram. The problems are exactly the fucking same as they were in 2015. When you look back through some of this stuff, it's alarming. It gets even weirder because the Denver defense in that game, somehow this defense only allowed 3 points off of the first 4 turnovers. That is fucking unbelievable. Yes, good defense. On Monday, the D allowed multiple field goals against the Chiefs, but still did a good job to give the Broncos offense a chance to win. So, Brock was benched, not for his performance alone, but so that Manning could provide that spark, that hard-to-define spark. And this came after Manning tried to get Brock to sit for him in that game. Do you remember?
No, Peyton. I want to keep playing in the football game. All you gotta do is tell Kubiak you have a tummy ache. You've got all next season to be QB1.
Mm-hmm.
You little shit. I'm just the greatest QB that's ever lived.
Mm-hmm. Well, it has come full circle, and Brock will get to be the starter in Denver again. And I'm starting to believe this isn't all about Simeon. It's not about him at all, actually. Oh no, this is the world righting itself for Brock's unfair but rightly called benching. Brock is destined to win a Super Bowl as a Denver Bronco with a bad offense and a great defense. Karma, bitches, and he's got the fire inside. He thinks it's acid reflux, but he's got the fire. The second thing I wanted to say about Brock is that he sounded ready. I mean, really ready and excited during his press conference this week. More importantly, he sounded confident, and he has nothing to fucking lose. He's already lost it all. So really, he can just go out there and ball, play the game like it's fun. All he needs to do is not turn the ball over and lead. That's really what the quarterback position is missing right now, is the presence of a leader. And when you're not playing well like Simeon was, it is really hard to be an effective leader on the field to hold others accountable when you're looking at yourself saying, shit, I'm making a lot of mistakes too. But what does EDP445 have to say about Brock?
Brock Osweiler. I'm sorry, man. I don't fear that motherfucker, man. But you know me saying I don't fear him. He's probably gonna carve our a nigga like Drew Stanton or John goddamn Skelton.
He thinks he might carve them birds up. Brock gonna carve the birds, and guess what? Nothing is more American than eating a fucking eagle for dinner. One of EDP's biggest concerns is their left tackle, and he's angry the team didn't do anything before the trade deadline to upgrade the position. Big V, the guy he's talking about, has replaced Pro Bowler Jason Peters after he tore his ACL and MCL.
Big V is a fucking liability, bro.
The reason he calls the new left tackle Big V is because he can't say his name. Just look at how long this fucking name is. Halapalivati Vaitai. Halapalivati Vaitai. Cannot wait to hear that name on Sunday. And the rest of the Eagles O-line is pretty damn good. I don't think one position's gonna kill you. I hope it does though. Now, let's cut to it. Who does EDP think is gonna win this game?
I really don't see us winning this game. I got the Broncos winning this man.
Broncos are on a 3-game skid, and this Eagles fan is picking the Broncos to win. I like him a lot. The Eagles are balling right now. They're the only team in the league better than the Broncos at stopping the run. They're 5th in rushing on the offensive side of the ball. Carson Wenz leads the league in touchdown passes, 19 with only 5 interceptions. Their backfield now consists of Jay Ajayi and LeGarrette Blount, not just 2 power backs, but now the duo with the best dreads in the NFL. And their tight end, Zach Ertz, is 10th overall for receiving yards. Not for tight ends, but for all ball catchers in the NFL. He's tied for 3rd amongst all receivers with 6 touchdowns. He has more receiving touchdowns than all of the Broncos receivers combined right now. The one position the Broncos have had trouble covering is the tight end position. They struggled with Wade, and they're struggling with Joe Woods. I will say, I thought Brandon Marshall had his best game in a long time last week. He looked fast and seemed to be in on almost every tackle. Will Parks is going to have to play better in coverage, as is Darian Stewart and probably Corey Nelson. I think it's communication issues in order to contain Zach Ertz. forced Carson Wenz to throw towards the Broncos corners. On a short week with a QB switch, Brock Osweiler not only has an uphill battle, but it's like he's trying to make that climb wearing fucking Crocs. That defensive front with Fletcher COx, Brandon Graham, Tim Jernigan, Chris Long, and Vinny Curry are by far the most talented group the Broncos have faced this season. They can get to you from the edges, and they can blow up the middle. Plus, their corners and safeties are pretty good. Look, I'll be surprised if the Broncos win this game, and if Brock actually makes it out alive. He's going to have to play like he did against the Patriots in 2015. The defense can keep this close, but even if Brock plays well, I don't trust this offense right now. Emmanuel Sanders is still questionable. DT hasn't scored in about a year. Questioning the Broncos' skill players is fair right now. Go back to the 2015 playoff and Super Bowl wins for this team. Against the Steelers, the only offensive touchdown was scored by C.J. Anderson. Brandon McManus kicked 5 field goals in that game. Who showed up for the Patriots game? Owen Daniels with 2 touchdown catches. He's gone, and the Broncos tight ends have made way too many mistakes the last 2 seasons. In the Super Bowl, C.J. Anderson was the only Bronco to score an offensive touchdown, and that came after a turnover. McManus nailed 3 field goals in that game. Think about this. Malik Jackson scored more touchdowns in the Broncos' 2015 playoffs and Super Bowl run than Demaryius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, Benny Fowler, Jordan Norwood, and Virgil Green combined, because they all had 0. In 2015 with Manning and Brock, DT caught 6 touchdowns. In 2016 with Simeon and Lynch, he caught 5. This year, 0 so far. So when Jake Plummer criticizes the skill players, he's not fucking wrong. The guy who has been the hardest on himself is C.J. Anderson, and he's been playing better than any skill position on offense. What does that tell you? It tells you Brock's only chance to win is if he, 1, is safe with the football, and 2, every skill position player plays better. It's not just a this season problem. It was an issue even as they won the Super Bowl. The good news is the AFC is wide open. The Broncos have a formula to do this. Brock knows how to do this. He's done it before, and the defense, if they start scoring, becoming turnover machines like in 2015, I believe magic can happen. My biggest question is, will Brock hold everyone accountable the way Peyton Manning did? That could be the biggest X factor for him. I don't think Denver wins on the road against the best team in the NFL. I really don't. But I am picking the Broncos to do it 24-23. EDP backs me up.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna swipe his leg. Oh!
A Brockwork Orange is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. If they win, they prove to themselves they can beat any team in the league. A win here changes the season for the Broncos. Yes, I am being hard on the skill players, but you know me. I love and respect the hell out of DT, Sanders, Benny, and Virgil, but those guys, those vets, need to also act like leaders right now. I don't want these guys hanging their heads again. I want to see this. Yes, hugs. Hug it up, boys. Hug it up, because you're gonna win. They can get back to doing that. I believe it. And it might come this week at the least expected time. Thanks for watching another episode of That's Good Sports. Subscribe here on YouTube, share these videos on social media, and if Brock gets a win this weekend, there's gonna be a lot of people opening up their mouths big and wide to gently place his genitals on and say, thank you, Brocky.